Kicking off this video at number 30, we have Punch-Out for the NES. This isn't necessarily the Mike Tyson version, considering I haven't played it, but if I had, it would probably take the spot. But either way, they're pretty much the exact same game, so anyway, this game was the game where Little Mac debuted, and you faced all these different fighters and boxing matches, but each of them had their own gimmick, their own something unique about them. And it was just really fun being this really short guy going up against all these monsters of opponents, sometimes literally. King Hippo. And so they would all have something special about them, making each fighter memorable, and you want to go back and fight each of them over and over again. And that's really cool. Coming in at number 29, we have The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword for the Wii. Now, this game was the first game in the Zelda timeline. It was the first one to take place. And so this was essentially the first heroic Link that he got to play as. And it just had a really memorable story, and I just really liked the world of Skyloft and riding around on Loftwings and stuff. It was all just really, really fun. Coming in at number 28, we have Pokemon Crystal version for the Game Boy Color. Now this was the one of the special third releases in a set, kind of like how there was red and blue, then there was yellow, and then there was ruby, sapphire, then there was emerald, diamond, pearl, then there was platinum. This is like that, but with gold and silver, and now there's crystal. And it was a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. It was quite possibly my favorite Game Boy Color game of all time, and I'll just never forget just playing around through two regions. That I will never be able to get. I'll never be able to swallow that. It's just really cool. And at number 27, we have Pokemon Blue version for the original Game Boy. Now, I know Crystal allows you to play through two regions, but Pokemon Blue was a lot simpler since there were only 150 Pokemon they had to worry about, and it was more focused on making sure you had fun. And it was, as opposed to the plot, I guess would be the way to put it for Crystal. There was more plot focus. Sometimes I felt like it just got a bit more in the way than the plot did with Red and Blue. I chose Blue because I chose Squirtle at the beginning. Don't judge. In at number 26, we have Super Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube. Now, this game it is considered by many to be the best in the Smash Bros. Series, considering it is one of the most competitive ones, and I'm not going to deny that it was awesome. The only thing I really have to question about it is, why is Pichu a character? But that aside, it had Mewtwo, it had two forms of Link. There was regular Link and Young Link, which was really cool, and it had adventure mode and a bunch of stuff. It was just really cool, and they just made it it came out 2 years after the original. That was pretty fast. Coming in at number 25, we have The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past for the SNES. Now, this game is massive, to say the least, for an SNES game, and it has more dungeons than any other game in the Zelda series. So it is definitely the largest and probably the one that takes the longest, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And this game is considered by many Zelda fans to be their favorite game in the series, if not just in general. And it's the one that introduced the Triforce symbol with the three of the triangles being put together. It introduced the Master Sword, and it introduced Link with pink hair, even though on the box he has blonde hair. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Coming in at number 24, we have Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, the sequel to A Link to the Past, released about, like, I don't know, 15 years later, something like that. But it was probably closer to 20 years later. Anyway, this was it was an awesome game, considering I played it before I played A Link to the Past. It didn't give me that much nostalgia, but when I played A Link to the Past, it was definitely gave me a shock. But you could, like, merge with walls. They were very creative dungeons, and it was the first Zelda game I ever finished, because I never got around to finishing any other one I owned, and I have by now, but back then I hadn't, so that says something. Coming in at number 23, we have Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox. This is easily my favorite Star Wars game of all time, and it is just a masterpiece. And you could essentially just take control of a trooper on any of 4 different sides, depending on which time period you're in. There are 2 for each time period. You can be a clone trooper or a droid for the Clone Wars, or you could be a rebel / stormtrooper for the Galactic Civil War. And also you could play as leaders and stuff, like in the Clone Wars you play as, like, Mace Windu and General Grievous, and in the Galactic Civil War there's Luke and Darth Vader. The possibilities were endless. And at number 22 we have Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception for the PlayStation 3. I'm not sure if any of you guys saw this game coming or not, but I actually really like Uncharted, and it is easily one of my favorite platformers, and it is another reason on top of Crash Bandicoot as to why Naughty Dog is so awesome. And I can tell you right now, when Uncharted 4 comes out, and once I get a PS4, I will be playing it immediately, because it's just gonna be awesome. And there's not really much more to say. There's great platforming, great action, great story, all of it compacted into one game, which is just really cool. Finishing off this video at number 21, we have Pokemon Emerald version for the Game Boy Advance. Another one of the thirds in a series, and gosh, I had to go through my whole childhood without this game, which sucked, because I really wanted it. It had great legendaries, it had great story, great teams, great region, great everything, and plus, Trico. Now that that's gotten out of the way, we can continue with why I like this game. And, I really like the characters and the gyms. Just everything about it seemed to be really refined, and I just really, really like this game.